Labor can be scary, especially for a first-time expecting mom. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be? Today, I am sharing 10 extremely beneficial natural birthing tips that have helped me and other moms throughout their birthing experience. Hello and welcome to the vlog. My name is Heaven and today I've got 10 essential natural birthing tips to help you have a successful natural birth. When I was pregnant with my son, I was blessed to have learned so much information that made me confident and knowledgeable on what to expect going into labor. With that information, I was able to have a successful natural birth with no medicines or medical interventions, and most importantly, I absolutely loved my birthing experience, and I know that is something that is normally unheard of. But yes, it's true. It is possible to actually love and really appreciate your birthing experience with the right preparation and expectations. And I know you can't always know what's going to happen during labor, but what you can do is know typically how labor progresses, what you can or should expect, and be prepared for certain things if things does come up. I have heard so many moms when they were pregnant tell me that they just want to have a natural birth and they're hoping they can have a natural birth and they're going to try to have a natural birth, but they have been so discouraged based on things that they've been hearing from other women. So before I go into these 10 tips, I want to say that it is extremely important to not necessarily ignore what other moms are saying, but try not to compare what your birthing experience would be to what someone else's birthing experience was. Because even when I was pregnant, I experienced the exact same thing. I told people that I'm going to have a natural birth, and some of the feedback that I received was mostly negative. People telling me that it's easier said than done, or they've tried it and it just wasn't possible, or I'm saying that now, but once I get into labor, I'm going to change my mind. And that was very discouraging, especially since I was a first-time mom. So I just want to say, make sure that you kind of just zero out those negative distractions and make sure you focus on your goal, focus on what it is that you want to do, and don't compare it to what other moms have experienced, because everyone's experience is going to be different. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone's birthing experience is going to be different, and you may even have a different birthing experience for every child that you have. So even if you try to have a natural birth, or you wanted to have a natural birth with your last child and you're worried that this time it's not going to be possible, remember that every birthing experience is going to be different, and it's all about keeping your eye on the goal and making sure that you provide yourself with enough encouragement and confidence going into your natural birthing experience. So here are my 10 tips for how to have a successful natural birthing experience that will be safe for you and baby and that you will love. My first tip is to create a natural birth plan. Having a natural birth plan not only gave me confidence, but it also gave me something to look forward to. It kind of made me feel like I had control over a very unpredictable labor, because labor is unpredictable. One of my biggest fears when I was pregnant about going into labor was having my water break and not knowing what to do and not having a plan once contractions started. And keep in mind, sometimes contractions will start before your water break, and sometimes they will start after your water break. You just never really know how it's going to go. So that was my biggest fear. So I think that when you create your birth plan, make sure you figure out what your biggest fear and your biggest worry is, and find a way to put that into your birthing plan. Create a plan for different scenarios that could occur for what your biggest fear is. The point of a birthing plan is so that you can have a plan and know how you want things to go, so that your support person that's going to be in labor can know how you want things to go and what to expect, and so that you can also share that with your doctors, your OB, your midwives, or whoever's going to be with you throughout your birthing experience. Your birthing plan can be as simple or as extravagant as you want it to be. Just make sure you actually have a plan, because believe it or not, many mamas don't actually make a plan. They just know that their water is going to break, and then once their water breaks, they go to the hospital. But there's so much more that goes into the labor experience. And having a plan and knowing what to do once labor begins helps to lower stress. It helps you and other people around you to stay calm. And these are both very important for helping labor progress. As we all know, that stressing yourself out and having people around you who are stressed can also put a lot of stress on your body, and it can also put a lot of stress on the baby, which can slow down labor so that it will not progress the way or as quickly as we want it to be. So doing whatever you can to try and prepare as much as you can by creating a birthing plan can just help take away some of that anxiety, some of that fear, and some of that stress for both you and the people surrounding you. If you don't know how to create a birthing plan, I will leave a link down below in the description box on where you can go to create your own birthing plan. I followed what to expect tips on writing a birthing plan. My second natural birth tip is to take care of yourself and your diet throughout your pregnancy. When your doctor hands you a booklet full of things to and not to eat and drink, all of the medicines to throw away out of your medicine cabinet, and a bunch of precautions to take throughout your pregnancy, I know it can all be very overwhelming. But I recommend following as many of those precautions as you can, even the ones that are commonly said to be okay or fine to do based on others' experiences. And again, I say this because every mama, every pregnancy, and every birth is going to be different. So if you're giving a precaution that you should take, I recommend you take that precaution, if that is what your doctor is telling you, over what another mom is telling you she did and it was just fine and she didn't have any complications. Because remember that your body is not the same as her body. So take as many of those precautions as you can. I know it's hard, especially to cut out some of those things that we love so much. For me, it was crab legs, because for some reason when I was pregnant, I just wanted all of the seafood. I wanted a ton of seafood, but I couldn't have certain types of seafood that had mercury in it, and one of those was crab legs, and it bothered me so much. But remember that it is all going to be for your precious little baby. It's only temporary, and when you have your healthy baby, you're going to be happy that you took those precautions that you were told to take. My third tip is to stay both active and hydrated throughout your entire pregnancy and throughout your birth. And yes, I know you have heard this before, and it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's annoying, it's difficult. And I'm not recommending that you sign up for some pregnancy fitness class or pregnancy yoga, or even do a 30-minute workout on YouTube every day. I am simply suggesting that you stay active. Like, try not to sit in one spot every day. And I know, like, in the beginning, when you're first starting to feel those pregnancy symptoms, like the nausea and the headaches and the exhaustion, I know how hard it is to want to do anything except sit in one spot all day. I am guilty for at least 3 weeks in my first trimester. I don't think I left the house. Like, I'm pretty sure I stayed in one spot most of the day. And that's okay. If you have to do so, just like for a short period of time because you're not feeling good, that's completely okay. But just don't do that throughout your entire pregnancy. You have a 40-week pregnancy, so if you need to take a break and here and there you find yourself resting, do so. Listen to your body, because you do have to rest. But if you can, and if it is possible for you to be able to get up and move around and be active, I do think you should do so. Maybe just walk around the house, up and down the stairs a few times, walk through the store and do some baby shopping, or take a walk to your favorite park or local spot. For me, it was the ice cream parlor up the street. Talk about motivation. Like, that was all the motivation I needed. It was my favorite ice cream shop, and it was right up the street. It took me about 5, maybe 10 minutes walking to get there, only once I got bigger. But it worked. 5 minutes to go and get my favorite ice cream, and that was a good way for me to stay active, especially during my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. That worked. So find what motivates you and find a way to stay active and just walk throughout the house, walk up and down the stairs, just be active in some type of way, because it's going to help you. It's going to help labor progress once you're in labor, and it's going to help you to stay healthy throughout your pregnancy. After 35 weeks pregnant, 10 squats once or twice per day is helpful for getting baby to lower, and hip circles are great too. Sometimes if I didn't want to stand for too long, but I knew I wanted to, get active and do some squats or some hip circles, I would just do so on my pregnancy ball. And guys, I got my pregnancy ball for $5 and below. It was just $5, and I use it throughout my entire pregnancy, and it worked wonders. I was able to bounce up and down on the ball to help lower baby. I wasn't going crazy. It was just like a comfortable little bounce, and do like a little rock and like swing your hips and like hip circles. These are all things that you can do on your pregnancy ball that helps you to stay active, to help lower baby, and so that you're not just sitting in one spot all day. You can even sit on your birthing ball while you watch television, and it actually, in my opinion, it kind of helps you to feel better, because it can become uncomfortable just sitting in one spot all day long. But again, make sure you don't do any heavy, fitness routines or any like squats until at least 35 weeks of pregnancy. Then it's okay to do a few squats here and there, and those hip circles are going to be helpful as well. My 4th natural birthing tip is try not to lay back and recline too much during the ending of your pregnancy or throughout the birthing experience. And you guys, I know this is so hard, especially when you're in labor, but trust me on this one, guys. It is going to help a labor to progress so much more quickly. Of course, there are still some complications that may have, again, because everyone is different, and my experience won't be your experience, but this one is definitely known to help so much. And the crazy part about it is how ironic it is, because a lot of the birthing experience or labor experiences that we hear about or that we have seen on television or from family members or other friends is kind of just sitting in that hospital bed, lean back, relaxing with like pillows all up under your head and all up under your back, with people massaging you. And the massages, yes, they work, but that whole just leaning back and relaxing experience, it kind of doesn't really help to move labor along. Like, you really are kind of just relaxing, and baby's probably up there just chilling and relaxing too, and it's like baby's waiting and we're waiting and everyone's waiting for baby to show up, but we're not doing anything to help labor progress, And towards the end of the pregnancy, mamas are always like, I don't think this baby is coming out, baby is comfortable, and that's true. Baby is comfortable. So I'm not saying make baby uncomfortable or even make mama uncomfortable. But what I'm saying is that if you can find ways to help baby move down, like if you just envision and picture your baby moving down into the birth canal, and if you just picture and envision or take a look at like a picture of what the birth canal looks like, there are ways that you can actually help your baby, get head down into that perfect position. So sitting up straight or leaning forward and practicing the child's pose helps baby to get down into that perfect head down birthing position. And it also relieves pressure on your back and lowers your chance of developing sciatica or back labor. My 5th tip is to eat, drink, and rest plenty before you go into labor. When you're getting close to the big day, you definitely do not want to be hungry, sleepy, angry, hangry, cranky. You don't want to be any of those things when it's time for the big day, because you need all of your energy to help you deliver that beautiful baby. Try to get in as many hours of sleep as possible. Being tired can cause you to want to throw in the towel too soon during labor. You're gonna need all of your strength. You ever heard mamas tell you like, I was doing so good and I didn't have any pain meds and I didn't get the epidural, and then like after waiting so long, I just got tired and I couldn't take it anymore, and I was just like, bring me all the drugs. Well, yeah, that happens. Like, I remember about, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours into labor, I was so tired, you guys, and I just kept saying like, I'm tired, I'm so tired, because I was so tired. I worked a lot throughout my pregnancy. I didn't stop working until I want to say maybe days before I went into labor. I worked in a dance studio up until my second trimester of pregnancy, and throughout my second trimester and into my third trimester of pregnancy, I worked in an office, and then towards the end of my pregnancy, I was working inside a hair salon. So I was kind of tired, but I had a really great support team that did not let me give up. They knew what the goal was for me. They knew what my birthing plan was. I gave them my birthing plan. We discussed my birthing plan. They knew what I wanted just as bad as I knew what I wanted. So they didn't let me give up. I didn't let myself give up. I just kept picturing baby moving down into the birthing canal, and I just kept picturing and thinking of and remembering what the goal was, and I kept pushing forward. But if you can, try to get a lot of sleep and make sure that you're eating well, resting well, and sleeping well before the big day. If you're at 38 weeks, then it's time. If you're at 37 weeks, then it's time. So right when you get into that last month, try to get some sleep, because you never know when it's going to happen. Be sure to aim for energy boosting foods and plenty of water instead of fast food and greasy food. Those will only make you even more tired. And when you're packing that labor bag, obviously they're going to have water, at the hospital. And I don't know, every hospital is different. I was able to eat and drink at the birthing center while I was in labor, but I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to drink anything, but everyone is different. So if you like to snack on peanuts and you want to take some Gatorade with you to give you a little extra hydration and a little bit more energy while you're in labor, then definitely do so. Discuss it with your midwives and see if that's something that's doable, and try it out. You may actually want to eat something or drink something while you're in labor, and if you can do so, make sure that it is going to help you keep up your energy levels and your nutrition levels. Natural birthing tip number 6 is to hire a doula or birthing coach. I did not have a doula, although I did want one. I met with 3 different doulas, and they were awesome. They were amazing. And even though they weren't with me throughout the labor experience, they gave me a ton of helpful information and tips going into labor. Doulas are there to support mama before, during, and after labor. They are very experienced and knowledgeable about hospital and birthing center procedures, and they will even come to your home if you're planning a home birth. Their job is to work one-on-one with you and your family to help you create a birthing plan that is tailored to your and your baby's needs. To find a doula or birthing coach, you can contact the hospital or birthing center where you're going to be having your baby at, and they should have a list of doulas or birthing coaches available, or some that they may recommend. Otherwise, you can check online and just search for it, and I'll also be sure to leave a link in the description box below. What I had was something called a maternal infant health supporter. So they were actually free to me because of my medical insurance, and they actually reached out to me after my birthing center referred me over to them. And oh my gosh, this woman was absolutely amazing. My maternal infant health supporter, her name was Mary, and she was an absolute gem to me. She was a doula, a midwife, and a breastfeeding lactation consultant, and she just provided me with a lot of support and encouragement. She came to visit me every 2 weeks before I went into labor, and after I had my baby, she came to visit me every 2 weeks within the first 2 months, and then every month up until my baby was 1 year old. So make sure you check with your health insurance company or your birthing center to see if maybe a maternal infant health supporter can be covered under your health plan as well, because she was absolutely amazing. So if you can, I recommend hiring a doula, a birthing coach, or checking to see if you can get a maternal infant health supporter. Tip number 7 is to attend a natural birthing class at your birthing center or hospital where you will be delivering your baby. Birthing class was actually mandatory at the birthing center that I gave birth to, but my husband and I received so much information that I felt confident enough to not even need a doula going into the labor experience. Birthing classes will teach you and your partner what to expect during labor, how to prepare for labor, positions and exercise tips and demonstration, different pain relief, as well as possible interventions. We were also given the chance to learn about hypnobirthing. Hypnobirthing helped us to really visualize what we wanted our birthing experience to be like. But I definitely recommend that you at least take one birthing class. We took about 5, I believe, about a month before we went into labor, and they were extremely helpful. It helped my husband to kind of get involved in the birthing experience before labor even began. So if you're worried that your partner is going to get there and not know what to do, if you're worried that he's going to be nervous or squeamish or not know what to do and not be very helpful, then attending a few birthing classes before labor will help him to kind of just get into the mood. Because as a mama, obviously we've been in the mood and we have spent the past 8 months pregnant, but for men and for the father, it could be a little different for them. So going to that birthing class helps them learn how to give you those massages that you're going to need, those pressure points that are going to help you, really give you the support that you need, the encouragement that you need, and help them to also know what to expect going into labor. But going to those birthing classes really helped eliminate a lot of that fear and kind of just gave me an idea of what to expect and what to do. Tip number 8 is to utilize support and resources. There is so much information and so many resources available to expectant moms now that I think you should try to take advantage of most of them, all of them, as many as you can. So a good place to start is to call your insurance provider and your birthing center or hospital and see what resources they have to offer, and then you can also look some up online or speak with other mamas that you may know to see what are some of the things that they did when they were pregnant, some of the helpful resources and support systems that they utilized. Aside from receiving our maternal infant health supporter completely free on our health insurance, we also attended a free baby safety class, a free car seat safety class, and we even received a free pack and play, a free car seat for our baby, some water testers to make sure that like the water temperatures in the home aren't too hot, air quality testers. There are so many things that you don't even think of, or so many things that you do think of and worry about when you're pregnant. So just attending some of those classes that may be completely free to you if you just contact your hospital or birthing center will help you to, again, eliminate some of that anxiety, some of that fear, and just kind of gives you a really big boost in confidence, makes you feel like you know what you're doing so that you have that confidence with you when you go into labor and even after once you take your baby home. Aside from third-party resources, it's also really important to have a surrounding support system in terms of people like friends or family. Having someone to talk to helps calm some of the nervousness, anticipation, confusion, and fear that comes with being a first-time mom. So reach out to your friends, not necessarily always for advice, especially if they're going to be discouraging you from having the natural birth that you want to have, but more so just being an ear, someone to listen to you vent about some of the things that you're worried about, and if they do have some good advice to offer, then that is great as well. But it's important that you get it out, get all of that anxiety, nervousness, all of that fear, just get it out, put it out on the table so that you don't take that into the birthing experience with you. Even though more people are leaning towards natural birth now, it can still be scary. So it's really important that you go into it with all of the confidence and all of the readiness and all of the preparation. Tip number 9 is to stay positive. Having negative thoughts about birthing and labor can really cripple your experience. Again, people can tell you so many negative things without even trying. They will tell you that you're crazy for choosing to have a natural birth. They will tell you that you're crazy for not wanting to use any medication. They will tell you stories of how they too wanted to have a natural birth but couldn't do so because the pain was so unbearable. And you will feel discouraged from all of those people around you who do not believe in you. And this will make you go into labor with the wrong mindset. So it is important that you believe in you and surround yourself with people who also believe in you. Try to stay positive as much as possible. Think happy thoughts. Think positivity. Think of your baby. Let go of all the negativity because it is very much possible You can do it. You can have a natural birth. It is possible. With the right confidence, knowledge, and support, you can succeed at having a natural birth. Tip number 10 is to drink raspberry leaf tea. Now, before you take my advice and follow this tip, be sure to speak with your midwife or your OB before you do this. But I recommend this tea if it is your first pregnancy, you're not at risk for preterm labor, you are past 37 weeks pregnant, and you receive approval from your doctor. Raspberry tea is beneficial in strengthening the uterine wall, which makes contractions more progressive and shortens labor duration. I had 2 to 3 cups of raspberry leaf tea the day before I went into labor, and I believe it helped a lot. So ask your obstetrician or midwife about raspberry leaf tea. So there you have it, my 10 tips on how to prepare for a natural birth. And now I have one more extra tip that I want to share with you guys for when you're actually in labor and during the birthing experience. Of all of the natural birthing tips that I've shared, this one is my absolute favorite, and it is for once contractions start. My bonus tip is try to sit upright through the contractions and throughout the entire labor if you can. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but you will want to do this. When you are in a traditional hospital labor room, they'll normally have your bed reclined back for more comfort, but it does not help progress anything. Leaning back and reclining will help to slow down your contractions, which are really great if you just want to take a break from the intensity. But again, it doesn't help to progress anything. So try not to lean back very often, and try not to take too many of those reclining breaks if you want your contractions to be more helpful, more beneficial, and more progressive. So if you want to get it over with, keep the contractions coming by sitting upright, leaning slightly forward, and try not to slouch or sit in a recliner. Instead, try walking around, sitting on a birthing ball, and don't forget to breathe through your contractions. Utilize pain relief techniques such as warm water, warm showers, and various massage techniques to lower your stress levels and keep your blood pressure even. But most importantly, believe in yourself and your body. And that is all I have for you guys today. Those are my 10 tips plus my one bonus tip on how to have a successful natural birthing experience. If you found these tips helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And if you know someone who may also benefit from these natural birthing tips, please be sure to share with them as well. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.